It is a hectic week astrologically. There is a lot going on. We have a Sun-Uranus square. We're in the midst of Venus retrograde. Mercury retrograde begins next Wednesday, August 23rd, and we're in the shadow period already, so you're probably feeling that. And Black Moon Lilith is in the picture too, in the later degrees of Leo, which can be really activating as well. And so, leading up to our new moon in Leo on Wednesday, I am offering a breathing exercise. Not a bunch of astrology, because TBH, I don't find that super helpful during Uranus transits where it can be really hard to focus, where our nervous systems are often already dysregulated, and consuming a lot more information while appealing, because it distracts us from our bodies, can be more harmful than helpful in my experience. So today I'm actually going to lead you through an 8-part breathing exercise. This is something that was taught to me by a meditation instructor in like 2019. And it was right on time because I used the hell out of this throughout 2020, throughout lockdown, throughout some of the more intense and scary and destabilizing moments over the past 4 years. And so I hope this is helpful. I think it will be for those of you who need a little bit of physical support to help regulate your nervous system and to bring some soothing. That's ultimately what this breath does. So I'm going to cue it for you. And then at the end of this, I will do a little mini, like very short tarot read to kind of help us identify additional tools that we can use to support ourselves throughout this energy. Okay, let's do it. So as mentioned, this is 8 parts. We're going to do it 3 times. And I will be cueing every part of it. And if you lose track of where you're at in the breath, that's totally okay. Just follow along to the best of your ability, jump back in when you get distracted, and you can always use the chapters function on YouTube to jump back to the beginning if you want to restart it too. Okay, so wherever you're at, maybe stretch a little bit, maybe sigh, just release anything that feels like it's right here. And when you feel relatively settled, relatively emphasis, go ahead and find some degree of stillness. Okay. So we are going to begin. We're going to start with the nose, then we're going to move to the mouth, and we'll jump between that all. So just listen closely. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the mouth, out through the nose. In through the mouth, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the nose. So that's 1 cycle. We're going to start again. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the mouth, out through the nose. In through the mouth, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the nose. That's 2 cycles. 1 more. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the mouth, out through the nose. In through the mouth, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the nose. That's it. So we go in nose, out mouth, in mouth, out nose, in mouth, out mouth, in nose, out nose. And then you start again at the nose. Okay? So I've included the instructions in the caption below if you want to do this yourself and you find it easier to read along. It's totally okay if you mess it up. The mistakes and imperfection are a part of the process when we're learning anything. And clinging to perfection as a way to soothe is not realistic, as attractive as it may feel. So if you have trouble with this, you're not alone. It took me probably 30 times to actually get the hang of it. And I find it helpful because it helps to focus our mind while bringing our attention to the breath. And then the breath itself is extremely calming. And as you do it more and more, you might notice that you more easily access that sense of calm. So I hope that's helpful as you navigate this hectic energy this week. And I'm going to end with a little mini tarot reading. So I'm pulling from the Portals deck by Taylor Ursula of That's So Pisces. And I pulled one card, and I actually got the little insert. Let's see if we can bring that into focus. So this insert is just about the deck, but I leave it in there because I find it to be a really powerful card when it does come up, because it brings us into the energy of the portal in itself, which means evolution, transformation. We think about like black holes. I think about the experience of chrysalis, where a caterpillar has to go into a cocoon and like melt into goo in order to become a butterfly. And that is intense. And we may see this beautiful butterfly emerge and just see it as this gentle, delicate, magical creature. But when you think about the sort of excruciating change that creature has had to go through in order to become what it is, it's a really beautiful metaphor for the changes that we often have to go through as humans in order to become who we are. And so while periods like this astrologically and just collectively, because we're going through a lot, can be extremely trying, extremely hard, there's no revolution without discomfort. There's no transformation without some degree of pain. And on the other side of that, there's often a new beginning. And that's not to bypass, that's not to validate or excuse the tremendous loss and pain and grief that people are experiencing and that our world is experiencing. But more so to remind you that expansion is preceded by contraction, that we go through these phases of feeling tight, of feeling destabilized, because they awaken something within us. And it's a natural law of balance that we need to experience contraction. We can't just be growing all the time. And so when we experience tricky transits like this, especially Uranian transits, and we might try to cling to control, what we're actually invited to do is to sort of surrender to what is and to find the center within it all. And so activities like breathing and your own tools that you've developed, which I'm sure you have your own over these past 4 years that help to ground and stabilize you or just to center you, those are available to you. Just remember to use them. It can be easy to forget. And our second card is the Hierophant in reverse, which was actually the challenge that came up. If I can get this into focus, which I might not be able to. Kinda. This was actually the challenge that came up for us in the week ahead spread that I posted on Sunday, on August 13th. So maybe you want to go back and watch that. It's just 60 seconds. But the message here is similar in that there are revolutions happening on big and small levels, on personal levels and on collective levels. And a lot of that tearing up is going to lead to a new beginning. But again, it's a reminder of how uncomfortable that feels. And it's a call to come back to our voices, because the Hierophant is connected to Taurus, and Taurus rules the throat and the voice. And so there's this need for us to think about the ways that our voice can be an outlet for our emotions, that our voice can be a guidepost for us as we navigate difficult times. So that might mean literally using your voice. That might mean speaking out. That might mean speaking out against injustice that you witness or experience. Or it might mean just examining the ways that your voice has transformed, especially over the past 4 years. How has your voice transformed? And how has it evolved? And how has it become more authentic to who you are? The Hierophant in reverse also often speaks to structures that we need to revolutionize, that we need to resist because they've become oppressive. And so questioning the structures, questioning the traditions, questioning the rules that have been enacted, asking why they exist. Are they there because they're just? Or are they there because they justify oppression? And again, this could be at a collective level, this could be at a personal level, probably both for many of us. But it could also be internal. Like, what kind of structures have you created within yourself, or what kind of structures are you upholding within yourself? Like, maybe it's an outdated tradition, an outdated belief. Maybe it's a fixed belief about yourself, that you exist in a static form that is unchanging. It can sound like I am statements that reduce you to a characteristic. And so asking yourself, is this true? And does this actually have to be true? Do I have the power and the autonomy to change this? And you don't have to take action right now. It's more so about asking the question and inviting the inquiry. So, to recap briefly, we're experiencing radical change. We're going through collective and personal portals. We're going through contraction that will lead to some form of expansion. And as we sit in this, how can we question what's around us? How can we question what's inside of us? How can we root in our own values, maybe, and in our own vision for what we'd like to come? Because if we can find that center within ourselves, that center of our values, it's going to be a lot easier to navigate any of the little fireballs or challenges that are thrown at you this week and into the future. And so bringing in those questions, bringing in those inquiries is going to be a powerful way to support yourself through these shifts. All right, y'all, that is all I have. I'm wishing you as much ease as possible, and if not ease, that you get to recuperate and get some rest after the hecticness of this week, because it can be a lot. All right, I love you. Bye.